Hello, peace seekers. This is Soneakqua White popping in to give you a piece of my mind that will hopefully give you some peace of mind. Today, I want to give you 3 tips on how you can tell the truth to someone without damaging them, without completely tearing them to pieces. Now, honestly, when you're telling the truth, there's not always a way not to hurt someone's feelings, so I don't want you to get stuck in that. A lot of people won't talk or won't tell others things because they fear hurting their feelings. If you're telling the truth, if a person is either unaware or in denial or whatever place that they're in, telling them the truth probably will sting a bit. So get out of the habit of feeling like you can't tell someone a truth or the truth because it's going to hurt their feelings. Okay? Because that's going to keep you from telling the truth a lot. Or thinking that telling the truth is going to keep you out of trouble, or not telling the truth is going to keep you out of trouble. Stop thinking in that manner. You need to tell people the truth because they need to get the help that they need, or they need to understand where you're coming from. And it may just be considered your truth. It may not be their truth, but your truth is just as important. Maybe that sparks a conversation that needs to be had so that you can come to some kind of compromise or agreement. But here are 3 tips on truth telling without damage. Okay? Number 1, think about whether or not it really needs to be said. Okay? Sometimes your truth, or even the truth, may not have to be said. If you telling the truth is only gonna benefit you to make you feel good because you know the truth and you're gonna tell the truth, think about it. Rethink that. Don't do that. Don't hurt someone just because you know something that they don't know, especially if it's only going to benefit you. Now, on the flip side of that, if telling the truth is going to benefit them, others, and you, it is worth telling the truth. So then we move into tip number 2. Beware of where you are in your stance with telling the truth. And here's where not damaging the person comes in. You don't want to be passive, or so passive that they don't even get what you're saying. You're so gentle with it. You're coming in so smooth that they don't even know what you're talking about. But you also don't want to be so aggressive on the other end that you just completely, you're on 10 with whatever you're saying, and you come in so aggressive and so hard and so strong, you put them on the defensive and they can't hear you because they're worried about you're about to throw a punch. So passive, too little. Aggressive, too strong. Assertive is where you want to be. And this is kind of my rule of getting to the core of the truth and also bringing redemption. So I would like to say you bring correction with compassion that leads to conviction. Now, I think you might think that conviction is bad because if you think of it in terms of going to jail, like you're convicted of a crime, yeah, that's bad. But in this sense, conviction is in their heart. They realize that they are wrong, or they need to do some adjustments, or they need to make some changes. It might sting, but they realize that it's true. This is also how you take a bit of the sting off of the truth. You think about you're correcting someone, and it's always okay to correct someone. If they're going wrong, correct them. They may or may not listen to your correction, but it's okay to correct. But you have to do it with compassion. And not that you feel sorry for the person necessarily. You may, but you have a heart for the person. You're correcting them because you don't want to see them get hurt. And the thing that you're correcting them about could potentially hurt them if you don't bring correction. So correction with compassion leads to conviction, that they're convicted in their heart. They realize their error or where they're wrong or what they need to adjust or what they need to change. So if you can do it that way, even if their feelings are hurt, you know that you did it out of love. You were correcting out of love, and you just wanted them to understand where they're wrong or where they need correction or where they need to make changes. Okay? And the third tip kind of bounces off of that. Make sure that the person doesn't feel condemned. Condemned meaning there's no hope. Oh, woe is me. I'm the most horrible person in the world. Now, sometimes people will use that as manipulation to make you feel bad because you corrected them. But not leading them to condemnation, not condemning them, making them feel like there's no way out. So sometimes if you can offer a solution, if you can't offer a solution, make sure that they know that they can come back to you for help or to talk once they've thought about it, once they've processed it. So tip number 3 is make sure they don't feel condemned, like there's nothing they can do and it's just horrible, it's the end of the world and all of that. Okay? So 3 tips on truth telling without damaging the soul of a person. Number 1, make sure that it's something that actually needs to be said. It's not just something you're being selfish about, even though it is the truth. If it's only going to benefit you, it might not need to be said. It might do them more harm than good. So think about that first. Number 2, think about how you're coming in with the truth. Is it too little, meaning it's passive, they don't even get what you're trying to say because you're beating around the bush so much about it? Is it aggressive, you coming in so strong they're on the defensive so they can't hear you because they're scared? Or is it assertive? Are you bringing correction with compassion that leads to conviction? Okay? And tip number 3, make sure they're not condemned. Make sure they don't feel like there's no way out. They're just completely wrong. Everything they do is wrong and there's nothing they can do about it. Make sure you try and bring a solution if you can. If you cannot bring a solution, make sure that they know it's okay to come back to you and talk. You're not mad. You don't hate them. It's okay to come back to you and have a conversation about what you talked about. Okay, I hope these 3 tips were helpful. I hope this video was helpful. If it is, give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear from you if you'd like to comment. I'll be back soon with more, but until then, be proactive about your mental health. Be well, and God bless.